Right then, shall we? I think we should. Click the right screen protocol. Hello, there we are. Behind the scenery live, it is me, Mel, the terrain tutor, on top form. At home tonight because I've got a bit of a family drama going on. Kerry's had to go out and I've had to look after the kids, although I have no kids. I don't know, I'm just a dad. I'm just a husband. I just get told what to do and where I need to be. I was told that I need to be at home tonight because Kerry's got to go out and I've got to look after the kids. One kid is at cadets, and won't be back till 9 o'clock. Well, I've got to get them at 9 o'clock. And the other daughter, I have no idea. She's out with the mother. I don't even know if she's coming back tonight, during the show, or whether she's coming back tomorrow. Welcome to my life. Anyway, folks, how are you? Right, this is a nice, intimate little show of ours. So, the question doc is open if you've got any questions, but I can keep a close eye on the comments. So let me know in the comments if you've got any questions for me. I'm just pottering about. I've got a bit of this stuff. Yeah, the battle zone stuff. I've been messing around with buildings and I just want to have a bit more of a play while I'm here chatting with you. Apologies, there was no video this Tuesday. There's currently 2 videos, waiting to go out. I uploaded this week's video and next week's video, ready to put them on Patreon and release them and all that sort of stuff. And YouTube has changed the way you upload videos to this new sort of studio system. And in doing that, it's set them to private and I can't change them. And because they've already been uploaded, I can't re-upload them because they say they already exist. And so I'm waiting for YouTube to fix that for me. So as soon as they fix that, you'll have more rock techniques out, guys. Apologies for that. I'm just hoping they get it done before the end of the month so I can get them submitted for Patreon, which I think end of play Saturday. So fingers crossed on that. But other than that, life's a breeze. Now I see loads of people chatting. Bane Super saying, been a while since I caught a stream, hoping you're good and the family's good. I am. I'm getting a bit sick of doing this book, to be perfectly honest. I've almost got it finished. We're on the downward slope, but I want to get back to doing big projects. You know what I mean? I've been doing a lot of little stuff for the book and a lot of writing. But I want to get back to feature boards and, the fully featured stuff and do my projects and that sort of stuff. So one more month of work, I reckon, and then I can just get back to my normal builds, you know what I mean? I've got my lava build I want to get back to, I've got the Stalingrad build I want to get back to, those 2 feature builds, so we've got those going on, plus my own Burma board. Hey Max, Tam, Insane, Daniel, Jimmy, RC, Jolie, hey a cat. All plans always goes wrong. What is it? What's the saying? No plan survives first contact with the enemy, which is so true. I've discovered, especially during the summer holidays where the kids are off and our schedule is a lot more looser. Trying to plan things and organise things is just a nightmare. And instead, I've just been grabbing time here, there, and everywhere. If you know what I mean. I was up at 2 o'clock last night writing 800 words on cutting technique. It was only supposed to be I thought I'll just do 100. I'll just make sure I include how to cut properly. 800 words later, that's cutting techniques, that's the troubleshooting it, that's the elbow guiding, that's the wrist twisting, that's the serrated cutting. Who knew I knew so much about cutting? Man plans and God laughs. Oh, a friend of mine worked in the prison service. He was a mental health nurse and he used to deal with quite violent prisoners and that sort of stuff. And we served together. He was one of my commanding officers in the army, and then we got together through gaming afterwards. We met up at a gaming club in Shrewsbury. Long after we'd both left the service, you know what I mean? But he turned around and gave me a quote once. He said, a prisoner once told to him, how do you make God laugh? Tell him your plans. So true. Bane Super saying, you don't need to tell me about finishing a book. It's a nightmare. I know, mate, I know. I plan a Lava Brawl arena for Super Fantasy Brawl. That was that. I got asked questions about that a while ago, actually, didn't I? Yeah, Waster Warboss is asking, would a 4x4 battle mat be a decent battle mat size? Actually, yeah, mate, for skirmish games, you want to go up to something like a 6x4 when you start to enter unit games and ranked battles. So the moment you start, the moment you're moving around blocks of models rather than individual models or little groups of them, yeah, that's when you want to start looking at a 6x4. But a 4x4 is ample enough. Yeah. Mel, are you on Top Chat or Live Chat? I think I'm on Top Chat, actually. I'll go on to Live Chat. Why? Have we got trolls or something? You want Live Chat? Okay. Mel, have you seen the new air drying clay from Aldi? Any thoughts on it? It comes in a resealable bag. I haven't been in Aldi doing my shopping this week. Kez has been handling the shopping, so I haven't had a chance to browse those wonderful tool aisles. To be truthful, I only use Daz clay, yeah, on my tutorials because it's a nice cheap clay that's easily available. Yeah, in the studio I have a 25 kilo sack of air drying clay, yeah, that I just open up every so often and just like grab a wad out and throw it into a resealable bag. Yeah, one of the benefits of being based in Stoke is it's the potteries. Yeah, we're a world centre of excellence for ceramics and clay work. Yeah, I mean, my building is literally in a clay works. You know, there are... I mean, we've got some of the world's best clay turners and clay workers in my building. Not just in the Spode studio, but on the site itself. You know what I mean? So clay is very easy to get hold of and very cheap around here. In fact, yeah, I often walk past pallets of the stuff. Yeah, literal pallets, 4x4 pallets stacked 4 foot high with air drying clay. Yeah, 25 kilo, you know. So, yeah, all round Spode, especially when BCB is on, which is the British Ceramics Bicentennial, which every 2 years there's a massive show in Spode that basically showcases all the best ceramics work from around the world. And it's coming up, it's going to be this year again. Or is it coming in next year? I can't remember. I think it's this year, actually. What are your thoughts on using brushed out poly yarn for budget static grass? It works, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Yes, if you'd like to donate, links are down below. It does help. I wasn't expecting that. I haven't been driving the donations recently because I know that I'm ticking over the channel. And I know the channel's rather static at the minute because I am ticking it over. Me and Dave were talking about future books and stuff like that, and I made it very clear that I'm having a good break before we even think, well, not think about doing a future book, but if we decide to do one, to actually tackle one. And the reason being is just quite simply, yeah, I want to get back to my channel, yeah, and get doing, you know, all the stuff that the book is taking up time. Yeah, so anyway, brushed out poly yarn for budget static grass. You can use it, mate, but static grass ain't that expensive. You know what I mean? Aldi clay is, what you call it, is £2, £3 for a 1 kilo bag. Daz is £4 for the same weight. Yeah, but you can buy Daz as what you call it. You can buy... No, I pay less than £3 for Daz. I buy him the Works sells Daz at 2 for a fiver. Yeah, so that's £2.50, which is cheaper than the Aldi clay. I'm not dissing the Aldi clay. I haven't seen it, and most air drying clays are the same, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, you know, so buy what you've got, what's available, and to be truthful, Yet the amount of clay you're using, the difference of £1 or £2 per pack, doesn't really make a massive difference of whether you should buy it when you see it. You know what I mean? Ways to say, and I need weird colours. Well, go to flocking.biz then and buy, Flocking supplies, flocking in, the nylon flock is from the automotive trade. It's used for doing the velvet feel inside cars. Yeah, there's a website called flocking.biz where you can buy individual colours. You can get neon colours, and I think they've got 64 different colours you can buy in different lengths. So that's flocking.biz. But you can get all sorts. Any update on the pumpkin tutorial? I haven't even started it, mate. I am full book. I am booked out. I am fully booked. Almost got some Aldi clay tonight. Was not sure of the colour. They say terracotta, but it looks so dark. Yeah, but it's wet, mate. It'll lighten as it dries. Yeah, the darkness is from the moisture in the clay. So the colour of the wet clay is not the same as the colour of the clay once it's dried, which will be much lighter. Same applies to Daz. Daz actually lightens as it dries. It's actually sort of a darker grey, and then it goes almost to pure white when it dries. I am such a tease, yes. Yes, I will put time aside to make sure that for the end of October we have a bit of a Halloween special. Because I should be finished all the builds then. Yeah? And if I haven't, I'll be winding them down. Yeah? But down by... Well, what I'm saying is, they'll definitely be done by the end of October, but they need to be sort of winding down at the... Either done or winding down at the end of September for me to have the time to do the stuff for the end of October, if you know what I mean. Let me quickly check the questions, see if we've got any. I've got one. I've not really been pushing the link. What's the best starter scenery apart from Papier-Mâché Hills? Oh, starter scenery. Okay, you've got rock clusters, which are quite easy. Large rocks put together with smaller rocks and dressed up with clump and flock and that sort of stuff. Okay, moving on to the hills. You move on to the polystyrene, but plaster bandage is another step up without getting into foam carving and that sort of stuff. You can use upholstery foam. Lloydie over at Beasts of War does a nice pluck tutorial where he plucks bits of the upholstery foam out of a block to create a hill. I've used ripped up chunks glued together and then filler over them to make rock clusters. There's a few good starter pieces for you. Do you know what I mean? Easy to get you started off. Actually, over to the chat. What do you guys... Come on, let's bounce this about a bit. What do you guys reckon is a good sort of starter for for starting builds? Without, going too heavily in the materials and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to throw that over to you guys. Hey Mel, do you have any more bacon cooking tutorials in stock? The last you did look really tasty. Bit undercooked for me, to be perfectly honest, mate. Did look a bit bacony though, didn't it, when it was finished? I looked at the thumbnail and the moment that the first comment came up, it was like, that's all that's going to get commented. That's all that's going to get commented. Should have done it out bloody black and grey. My dad's suppliers in an airtight container. Yeah, I do the same. You can never make the packaging completely airtight. Even those Ziplocs aren't completely airtight at times. Depends how posh your bag is. Basic foam hills, cheap and easy. Using Woodland Scenics kits. They're great, actually. I've got to give those a shout out. Woodland Scenics sell these starter learner kits. And there's enough in them, to do a reasonable amount of terrain. Okay, but because the railway guys typically do large layouts, there's nowhere near enough in them, to do a large layout. So Woodland Scenics sell them as sort of a loss leader to get you into the products. And what is a loss leader for the railway modelers, for us is like, it's a dirt cheap multi-bag. I think it's like $20 and you get all sorts of flocks, foliages and materials in there. Do you know what I mean? Be serious though, what Jimmy said. Anyone who can use a knife can cut and make foam hills. Steak knives work great as they can, but sometimes getting the foam can be a bit tricky. It's not so much working it, but there are places where you can struggle to get the extruded stuff, and there's places where you can struggle to get any sort of insulation foam. Generally hot places. Preform half moon foam. You can buy those. Your CD scatter tutorial is a good starter. Foam core builds. You can normally get mountain board. Styrofoam hills with some wall filler or something like it. Very easy. Then a lot of rubble on top. Pan scourers as basic edges. Cut to size, stick to a base, and voila. Bit of a dry brush. Hedges, Brillo hedges. People are coming back. Woodland Scenics water is amazing. They've got some good water products out. They've got some good watercolours out at the minute as well. You don't have to have foam. Wad up newspaper or foil, cover with tape, then soaked paper strips. Dry super hard. Papier mâché. It's Jason. Hello, Jace. Hello, buddy. How you feeling, mate? You feeling better? You sorted yourself? Oh, I'm getting texts and all sorts. Any more PayPals? No more PayPals, I don't think. No more PayPals. If you would like to donate and put a smile on my face, the link is down below. It's all going towards teddy bear stuff at the moment. I used to make scenery out of old newspaper and watered down plaster paste. Just tear, papier mâché. Then just paint all over it. There's a lot of love for the papier mâché techniques, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of love for them. We've got another question from Jason. I've recently been using flower arranging foam with sculpture mould over the top for hills, etc. And so far it's actually been very good. However, I'd be interested if there were other options for making flower foam durable. Right, I've got to get this right. I've got to get the term of this foam right. Give me a second. I need to go and look at my book. I've got to open Office. Give me a second. Materials. Where's my materials? Is it the whatchamacallit? Yeah. Foam is section 6. So what? Foam. Right, foam. Bits and kits. We've gone past foam. Scratch building. Dry stuff. Basic build materials. Scatter, plyboard, EPVC. Foamy stuff. I did a polystyrene, EPS, expanded polystyrene, extruded. There are other types of insulation foam, king pan and Celotex. Phenolic foams. Phenolic foam. Right, got it. That's what it was called. Right, don't mistake floral foam for polystyrene. It isn't. It's a different type of foam. It's called phenolic foam. Now this is especially important when melting it or using hot tools, because when you melt phenolic foam with hot tools or anything like that, it gives off formaldehyde gas, which can kill you quite easily. Okay, so no hot tools, no melting with the old floral stuff unless you're doing it outside, masked up with a good breeze. And nowhere near any kids or small animals, because what you can take will affect kids and small animals a lot worse than it hits you. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, it is a softer sort of foam, and it has got it's got a crumbly structure. What you can do is you can saturate it with watered down PVA. Yeah, and this will soak through it and essentially harden it up. You've got to be a bit careful about not overdoing it because you can get warping issues. Okay, but that's the easiest way of densing it up. Now, you can layer on a layer of texture on top of it, yeah, which will harden, but you've got to think of it along the lines of that's a hardened shell. It hasn't actually hardened up the foam itself. So any excessive force, you know, someone leaning down on it, that could crack that shell, your hill's going to crumble. Okay, so a soaking of watered down PVA is a great way of of sturdying it up, and to a certain extent it can seal it, and then you can paint it directly without even applying filler. But the most important thing is don't melt the stuff. Yeah, if you want to find out more about it, it's called phenolic foam, and I'll put that in the comments right now because I think it's important you guys know this stuff. Yeah, it is not polystyrene. Okay, it's not polystyrene. Don't melt it. Yeah, I know. Look, I know we say we've got to avoid fumes, yeah, when we melt polystyrene, but let's be honest, yeah, we all occasionally, you know, a quick sniff, woohoo, yeah, it happens. It's a common thing, yeah. We've all walked out into the fresh air with a sort of like, we're bleary-eyed, yeah. Don't think the same applies to phenolic foam, yeah. This applies to Kingspan. Celotex, is it? That's the yellow spongy one with the silver. No hot tools. Yeah, formaldehyde, kill you. And also the floral foam. Yeah, so I'm just going to put the name of it. Floral foam is made from, is not polystyrene, but actually phenolic foam and should never be melted. Hey, Crawley? Yeah, Crawley, just as I said, Celotex, Kingspan, all of those silver, yeah. If it's got a bit of a bounce to it, be careful. You know, if it springs back a bit too much. Yeah, so. Oh, people, I saw the mention of trolls and I was like, oh God, not again. And people like talking about the troll incident. So yeah, there you go. I think that was important. You know, don't melt it. Different type of foam. Yeah, and as always, guys, if you like me saving your life, links down below to PayPal and Patreon where you can help keep me going so I can help keep you going. That's actually quite a good pitch. That should deserve a donation. I think that's my best PayPal pitch ever. Helping me keep going so I can help keep you going by not killing yourself by thinking what your floral foam is polystyrene. Best tip, if the foam is bouncy, don't use it. At least don't melt it. Yeah, you can cut it and that sort of stuff. Obviously, it gets a bit bitty and you've got to be careful with dust and, you know, your respiratory system and that sort of stuff. But above all, yeah, don't melt it. Don't go wandering into the studio thinking, I'm going to have a good bulk cutting session, because you might not wander out the studio. And listen, that thing about the kids and the small animals, yeah, from a biology point of view, you've got to realise that adults, we're quite durable. Yeah, the little ones and the little pets, you know, they're not. Okay, so if it's enough to make you go woo, a bit, you know, a bit woozy, yeah, it could really actually do some damage to little ones. Yeah, so just be careful on that, guys. Yeah, you know what I mean. Right. Moving on, we've got a question from RC UK. I've got quite a few questions. I'm enjoying this. I've got at least another sort of half an hour, 40 minutes to go before I've got to sort of start getting ready to get the lad. Yeah, so, you know, well, let's get stuck into some questions because I'm enjoying that. Yeah. Okay, Mel, quick question. What can I use for snow texture? Right, first off, paint. You can just paint your ground white. Okay, it's perfectly acceptable. You don't have to use any particular snow flock or anything like that. Okay, next off you have your scenic sort of materials, and these are your white flocks. These vary from 1mm white nylon static grass, yeah, to which is foregrounds method. Woodland scenics use acrylic plastic shavings. I know shot blasting sand, white shot blasting sand can be used for very fine, very fine snow effects. Okay, so those are your particles. When it comes to applying it, a lot of times people like to not layer down glue and just sprinkle it on. A lot of times people like building up bulkier mixes. Normally throw in like an acrylic filler, some white paint, a bit of PVA, and their chosen snow scatter into a mix. The acrylic, also watch your baking soda is another common one, but baking soda yellows. So it's always best using baking soda in a mix because you can throw some white acrylic paint in there, yeah, to stop it yellowing. But generally it's the acrylic caulking. The acrylic filler, the bulk filler, that gives it a bit of oomph, yeah, that snow has, because snow doesn't sit as a fine layer unless it's really fine snow, you know, it has mass, it builds up. And the acrylic filler allows you to lay it down, let it set, and then come down and build layers up, you know what I mean, whilst maintaining that snow look. So that's what you can use for texturing snow. Painting is perfectly fine. Remember, yeah, if you've got access to a satin varnish in a rattle can or an airbrush, a couple of little blasts of that over large areas can give it a nice little glisten. Okay, that'll help make it look like snow, because snow's rather reflective, because obviously it's frozen water. Yeah, and Cat's jumping in for snow effects. Check out Mel's video on Mountain Passport. Great snow tips and tricks. I'll clarify that. Go into the, I think it's the, I have a playlist, Terrain Techniques, Snow, Water and Lava Effects. And there's a couple of videos in there on creating snow effects. Yeah, they were taken from the High Peak Pass snowy mountain build. Yeah, so they're more condensed on giving you the information you need to do that technique rather than watching through the entire project. That being said, yeah, maybe the last video of that project where I'm actually doing all the snowing and going along. Questions are building up nicely. I will do a quick check of PayPal, make sure I'm not missing anyone. I don't think I am. But don't want to miss anyone who's donating direct and hasn't gone on the screen. Activity, I think it's just... today, activity today. Homemade crafts. Yeah. Just them, I think? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Is there a message? No message. But thank you. Jace is throwing in links. Nice one, buddy. Doing a table for my walls. What's the best flock colour static grass for a tundra table? You want browns in there. Browns and real... Right, you want dark greens, okay, and you want browns and creams. Okay, tundra tables are a bit, they're kind of like marsh tables in a way. Yeah, tundra never gets dry enough for vegetation to dry out. Okay, so instead of vegetation, the grass drying, becoming brown, drying, becoming brittle, breaking away and new grass growing, what you get a lot of is dead grass. Okay, and dead grass is brown grass, but over time it can lose that brown colour and become actually quite really light, especially at the tips. Yeah, so I would go with a mixture of dark greens, really dark greens, yeah, and dark browns, okay, for your static grass. And after it's applied, if you haven't got any cream colours, yeah, I'd just come along and just dry brush the tops of them with a bit of cream coloured acrylic paint. Really lightly, but get those tips so they look like, they've lost their colour. Yeah, but that's the best static grass sort of colours for going for a tundra area. Got my first spray bottle on the advice from Mel Spray and PVA. Nice one, buddy. The link for the snow effects is in the playlist, folks. Nice one, matey. Right, let's have a look at another question. What have we got here? Right, this is from Max. Okay, Mel, I'm considering producing deciduous bottle brush trees for war games or model railways with autumn flavour for October. Yeah, that'll work, mate. No reason why not. I mean, bottle brush trees are basic trees. They're stylised trees, but they don't have to be green. Yeah, it depends. Remember, fir trees are evergreen, so they won't have autumn colours. Yeah, so make sure, you do stick to your deciduous trees. But yeah, there should be no problem with that. There's a great number of flocks. Woodland Scenics do some nice autumn colours. Right, Daniel's asking, and this one's, what are your thoughts on the heat and pour water pebbles versus mix and pour resin water effects? Oh! Here's a question. Let's do this. Right. If you've not come across them, there's an old product, and I mean an old product. And it's from Woodland Scenics, and it's like these plastic yellow pebbles that you're supposed to melt in a pan, or melt, and then pour into your terrain. Okay, and my God, the stuff is just a nightmare. I've used it twice. And the second time I cursed myself for not remembering why I said I would never go back and use it again. First off, it knackers any pans you're pouring it in. Second, it's yellow. It doesn't go clear, it's yellow. It looks like someone's gone along above your depression on your table and gone a bit like, you know what I mean? Not just that, it's really thick, and the heating process of heating it up means you get bubbles in it. Okay? And you pour it onto your and there's no way of degassing it. I mean, you have to hit it. If you hit it with a heat gun, you can soften it and get them out, but it's so temperamental that you can burn the top of your water. Okay? On top of that, because it's more like a gel than a liquid, it never sits, flat. It sits curved, like that. I think it actually reduces some of its volume when it cools, to be truthful. And so the bottom sinks, if you know what I mean, leaving more of a, more of a dip. It's just nasty. So with regards to my thoughts on heat and pour water pebbles versus mix and pour resin water effects, resin and water pour effects every time. Don't even buy the heat and pour pebbles. They were the best way to describe them is they're a legacy product from a time when we didn't have the scenic products we have now. Acrylic effects, acrylic still water effects, 2-part resins, and a host of other DIY glues, all produce better results, easier to work with. So to be truthful, I mean, from my point of view, I'd actually like to see them sort of retired. Yeah, taken from sale. Because I think with the other products that are available on the market, yeah, it's a shame if someone was to buy them. Okay, that sounds bad. Okay, it's a shame if someone was to buy them and ruin their setup. If they've if they've, with so many other decent, products that are easier to work with and produce better results. So no, for the last question that I've got at the moment, just avoid the heat and pour pebbles. They're a nightmare. Is realistic water good? Depends who you buy it from and what you're doing with it. Acrylics are good for small amounts, but they can have problems when they're applied in large volumes. The best is always the resins. Yeah, they just produce better results all across. Daniel's saying they're clear now. Really? They've got them clear? Even if they have got them clear, okay, you're still going to have problems with the gas, you're still going to have problems with bubbles, you're still going to have problems with dipping and that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're not going to be easy to fix if they go wrong or if you make a mistake with the pour. Yeah, stick with the acrylics or the resins. I mean, I'll put a little caveat on that. If I see a pack of clear ones with like new improved recipe on, I'll pick some up and give it a go to see if there's a difference. But every experience I've had and everything I know about terrain and materials and all the problems that come with them just tells me to avoid it like the plague. And that's why we are here, to help us from screwing up our projects. Thanks to Mel for helping us. This is perfect time, isn't it? Remember, folks, if that does help you, then links down below to donations, either via PayPal or a regular one-off of $1 a month via Patreon. It all helps me keep going, so I can help you keep going. Am I pushing that one too far? I just thought it was a really good sort of like punt. Works better than send me your money. They're on sale in Hobbycraft near the Realistic Water Tub. I'll go check them out. I haven't got a Hobbycraft locally, but they'll appear locally at some point. A product like that could turn a newbie completely off building terrain. Yeah, you've got to be careful with these things. That's why, I'd like to say, unless they've improved the recipe drastically and how it works, let's move that off because it does more harm than good. Has Mel saved you money, time and frustration? Don't ask that question to Kerry. I can imagine they're a nightmare to measure accurate since the pebbles are supposedly... it's a nightmare all round. What stuff would you recommend with someone who lives in a flat with no garage or balcony access? I can't really make much mess in the living room with polystyrene or dust. Actually, mate, you can. You can drop a sheet down, over your work area. Drop it down to the floor just behind you a little and just get your Hoover. Keep your Hoover, okay, just the nozzle on the desk. The actual Hoover machine, your vacuum cleaner, for those who non-Brits, we call it a Hoover. Hit it on, and just as you go, just clean as you go. You've got to understand, my workshop was in my kitchen. Literally in my kitchen. One half of my kitchen was where I ran the studio from for about a year, building terrain. So you can. It's not about changing materials, it's just about the work process. That's in the book as well. Links down below if you want to pre-order that. I'll tell you one thing that's really good about the book. And it's kind of weird. Because the book has forced me to actually write all the information down that needs to go down for terrain building in a logical, structured order. It's really helped me pull my knowledge together. Do you know what I mean? Sort of find any little holes that might be missing that I need to check. And just get a broad overview of everything. It's really weird. Ever since I've started writing the book, I'm finding answering these questions a lot easier, because I think because I'm condensing like a lifetime, up to 40 years worth of terrain building, because I started when I was 5. Because I'm condensing all that into one thing currently, it really does, really does pull you together. They are. There's a big hobbycraft at Bridgemere Garden Centre. Is there? Looks like I'm taking the kids to see Bridgemere then. It's a bit of a family destination anyway. I'd love a hobbycraft in Stoke, although they are ridiculously expensive. Luke's recommending Clearfix. I haven't seen Clearfix. Not sure what the product is. I haven't been watching many videos recently either. James, put your glasses on. The Bravery Award goes to Mel for services to workshops and kitchens. Right, Dane's asking, how would you do water effects like a marsh or similar on a 25mm base? Thinking of doing it for my Agmar army. For that small amount, I'd use acrylic still effects. Yeah, mixing a bit of drab green into them, olive green, a nice dark olive green. Yeah, and just layer it on with a brush, moving it round. Get the blob on the brush and layer it on and move it into where you need it. On a 25mm base, resins, there's not enough space for resins really to do their stuff. I mean, you can use resin, but you'll be mixing up and measuring up such small quantities. It'll be silly. Okay, so stick with the acrylic water effects for that, guys, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, and just mix a little bit of dark green painting with it to get the sort of marsh look. Indeed. Yes, Kerry did donate. Actually, Kerry didn't donate, her kitchen table to the studio. She turned around, she said, well, you've had it for God knows how many years. You might as well keep it and buy me a new one. Yeah, Val, I wouldn't kick out your flatmate if you need his money. Woodshop teachers say not many hobby shops left in Denmark, sadly. Mainly shops at Games Workshop or Farah's Cigare, a Danish game shop. How about railroad shops and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? So in Woman Speak donated. Yes, Jace, in Woman Speak she donated the table. In return for me buying her a new kitchen table. Not many hobby shops, any places. We've had one closed down in Stoke, to be truthful. Yeah, quite recently. And the sign gutted me. Yeah, because I went to it and it was just like, the sign in the window was, the internet's killed the shop. And that's what the sign was. We're closed. We'll still be doing shows with the remaining, while we sell the remaining stock. But we can't compete with online stockists. And it's like, it's the way it's going, you know. We have got a couple of gaming shops in Stoke and a couple of hobby shops that are soldiering on. Yeah, just about, and doing reasonably okay. We've got a Games Workshop as well. That's barely open though, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, Jace, we are lucky. We do have a few. Still effect water is a good thing to add to your collection. Good for draw and slime effects too. Yeah, it is, most definitely. Which one was that, Mel? The one that shut down was Infinity Models over in Longton, mate. Yeah, James, that was Tim's Affinity Models. I think, to be truthful, I'm not sure, how much of it is to do with the actual trade, because Stoke War Games Club is based above it. And I've got a couple of mates there who are saying that the building's actually been condemned. So I'm not sure if actually it was the landlord, and perhaps, the internet didn't make it much easier and they couldn't find a place, do you know what I mean, to move to. Had three hobby shops close on the island in the last 12 months. Which island is that, mate? Yeah, it's always handy to have a watch at a hobby shop. I love the sound of Stoke. Must come and visit it sometimes. Have you been watching my videos about Stoke, mate? Dave saying, I work in retail. You can't have a bricks and mortar shop nowadays without having an online presence. The problem is with this industry is the fact that, the online presence is basically a bargain basement. Everyone's undercutting themselves. And so, unless you're willing to cut your margins down to next to nothing, you can't make anything online anyway. The Isle of Wight. Right, 3 on the Isle of Wight. That's a lot. Jimmy saying, a game shop in Newcastle noticed the decline in sales due to the internet and decided to use part of the shop as a cafe. Sales increased. To be truthful, I think Guys That Game and I know Jace is quite friendly with the new management at the one that's in Newcastle, which is just across, which is kind of part of Stoke. But both of those have gone for the coffee shop come game cafe approach, and I think it's the way of the future, making hobby stores social venues. Yeah, I think that's the way, because for all I know loads of you, and me, my hobby exists online, but you can't, the socializing element with your local friends and that sort of stuff, that can be tailored quite to towards. Do you know where I'm getting at? I'm struggling with that one. A railroader was the one who taught me terrain. He had a shop behind my store and built commission tables. Now he's a shop in there, but mostly does online sales and commissions. Waste of War Boss. Have a look at the Realistic Rock series. I did Lava a couple of weeks ago. There's been a few in the Portsmouth area too. Down here, the rent for the shops is too high. Yeah, that's an issue. Stoke, as seen with Mel and Jace, would be a great trip, to be honest. Yeah, if you had a local guiding you, then Stoke can be an interesting place. I mean, Tanya came across and she had a great day out. Yeah, she came across with a friend and I hosted them. Yeah, and we had a great day out in Stoke. Yeah, but just as a tourist, I did a troop at a comic store game shop that has a cafe. It's in Crawley and it's awesome. You're seeing a lot more of it, aren't you? You know what I mean? Element Games seems to be thriving in Stockport, online and hobby centre. Yeah, I think Elements have quite a lot of gaming tables, don't they? And they can run tournaments. I know Martin over at Dyson Decks, he does that as well. Over in where is he? It's North Shore, isn't it? In what's the place just above Liverpool? Stockport? I think it is. But he does the same. But it's this social venue that's the thing that's keeping it. And the fact of the matter is, I was talking with Martin, and he was telling me, he makes more profit on the coffees and the snacks than he does, some nice chimneys in Stoke. Not so many. I think over the last I think over the last 50 years, yeah, we've lost probably over 2,000 pot banks, 2,000 chimneys. So there's not as many chimneys. The skyline in Stoke when I was a kid, God, it was just chimneys. Bottle-shaped chimneys everywhere you looked. Now you have to sort of look across the city and see if you can still spot the remaining ones. To explain this, pottery is traditionally made in what's called a bottle kiln. Yeah, and these are huge structures built twice the size of a house, of a 2-story house, that basically look like the top of a bottle. So they go up, and then they go narrow, and then they go into a narrow chimney. Yeah, and we used to have about 2,000 of them in the city. Yeah, burning coal and knocking out smoke. Southport, that's it. Element have enough space for 200 gamers in their game centre, and it's a licensed bar. Do you know what? I really think loads of local pubs should start doing games nights. Because we've got this thing, it's not only the hobby where we're struggling, even local pubs are dying out, due to cheap alcohol from supermarkets and the like. Yeah. But I think games nights in pubs would be brilliant. The thing above Liverpool is Manchester City. Boom, boom. Oh, God, here we go. Robbie Williams. Don't. He's a knob. And I say that, as someone... Kerry, my wife, she used to hang around with him as a kid. Her best mate, Sarah Walker, used to sort of not date, but let's say... be active in the bushes in true Stoke style. Oh, good old skier. There was this lass, she was called Skier. Not because she liked skiing, but because she liked skiing. Yeah, but anyway, so Kerry grew up with Robbie Williams. She used to bob school with him, and he's just... In fact, one of my stepdads says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. The last of my stepdads is probably the best way of phrasing that. He's good mates with Robbie Williams' dad, and he goes on holiday with him. My brother's kids go to My brother's kids go to school with Robbie Williams' niece and nephew, and they're friends with them. So actually we know Robbie. Well, I don't know. I've never met the bloke, but I know lots of people who do. I hand throw pottery. You want to come to Stoke? Everyone does round here. I've even had a couple of goes of it myself. I'm quite good at turning. You know what I mean? You've got Fred Dibney to blame for the chimneys, Mel. No, I haven't. Those chimneys were built before he was born, mate. Those chimneys were built in the Industrial Revolution, and they stood for over 100 years. So it's not Fred's chimneys, man. It's a great business model. I work in a garden centre, and the least things we sell is plants. It's almost homeware and gifts now. Bridgemere is the same. Like we were talking earlier, there's a hobbycraft up there. I know there's various craft shops. But Bridgemere is garden centre where you go to buy plants. The Glebe in Stoke by the King's Hall used to be famous for gaming-based clientele. Now it's an old-school boozer, alcoholics den. Yeah. Used to get this thing where certain rock pubs in the city would have gaming nights because a lot of the rockers would be into D&D and be into role-play and stuff like that. So I remember this one night, one Saturday. It was a Saturday night, yeah. It was the Rigger, which is a local rock pub. Yeah, and it's right across the road from like one of the town's nightclubs. Yeah, what was it called back then? Zanzibar. It was a cesspool. It was just a cesspool. Yeah, but what you used to get was on a Saturday night, you'd get the straights wanting to come up from town to go Zanzibar, who were brave enough, coming into the Rigger, which was a rock pub, a biker pub. Yeah, to have a pint before they waited for Zanzibar to open, before the queues opened. And this one time, yeah, this group came in. Yeah, this massive group, yeah, of lads. I don't know if they were on a stag do or what. Yeah, and the entire pub was sitting down playing board games and D&D on a Saturday night. Yeah, rockers, bikers. I mean, in Stoke we have two bike gangs. We've got the Hells Angels and then we've got the Stafford Eagles. Yeah, and biker pubs are considered sort of neutral territory, so there's never any grief on them. Yeah, so you've got like, they always keep to the sort of different side of the bars, you know what I mean? They always keep to themselves, yeah, but there's never any grief, yeah, actually, any of the rock bars or anything like that. Never any fights, it just doesn't happen between the gangs. Yeah, but to watch these straights come in and see all these like rockers, the two different biker gangs sitting down. I mean, I think one of them was playing bloody Mousetrap because someone had found it. Yeah, and then you know what I mean? Right, I'm on a nostalgia trip here, aren't I? It was a great night out in Zanzibar. Jace, you straight. I probably used to jeer at you from across, sitting outside outside the Rigger. Show up at a pub with a small roll mat, a couple of friends, and just start playing. As long as you're buying, they'll let you keep playing. Oh yeah, but landlords actually like games because, I mean, in the pub trade, games have always been a way to keep people entertained while they're drinking and keep people in the pub. Yeah, and also games also actually help sell alcohol because they introduce a period of time to do something that isn't game. So when you finished a game, it's like, right, okay, I'll go for a wee and I'm gonna grab another pint and a packet of crisps ready for the next game. So they actually encourage you not to sit with your drinks. So actually landlords really like games. We took Catch the Moon, me and Kez, one night. We decided, that we wanted a voddy. Yeah, we didn't have kids. Yeah, we got no vodka in. And it was like, I don't want to go and buy a bottle and just sit in the house. Yeah, and it was like, all right, we'll go up to the local pub. It's a lot more expensive. But we'll just have a couple of rounds. And we took Catch the Moon, which is like a ladder stacking game. Yeah, where you've got to stop bits falling off. Okay, whilst building it up. It's just a little thing. We took that up, yeah. By the time we finished, I think I bought 2 rounds, yeah. I had another 3 rounds bought for me by the people we were playing with as people joined us. Talking of things found, they found 20 snooker tables underneath the old Zanzibar last year. I remember when it was a snooker hall. I remember Zanzibar more as the Cube, the Golden Goblet, Pollyannas. I remember them all. I remember trying. Do you know what? I can remember. I think it was when it was called the Cube. Yeah. I went up there and we were trying to get these lasses in. Yeah, and they were underage, which was kind of stupid of us because we were underage as well. Well, I was underage, yeah. The rest of the lads I was with were a couple of lads from my unit who were staying with me. And they were all 18. Yeah, and so we got a challenge for ID. Yeah, and the lads just got out their driving licence. The only ID I had was my military ID, yeah, which said I was 17 on it. And I just held it and showed it this bouncer. Yeah, and this bouncer looked at me, and you could tell he was ex-forces. You can just tell if you've been in, Yeah, and he just looked at it. He looked at me mod 90. That's what they call military IDs in Britain. It's mod form 90. Yeah, and he looked at me mod 90, and he just went, go on, and just let us in. Yeah, simple as that. Girls in as well. On the pull. Those were the days. Did you know I have been together with my wife now for over 20 years? Next year will be our 20-year wedding anniversary. So, yeah, those days on the pull, they are long, long gone, but fondly remembered for the adventures. For the adventures. Yeah, but to be truthful, I found a good woman. I'm a happy man. And not just that, nightclubs stink. They're horrible places now without all the smoke, which used to disguise all the BO. And the floors are still sticky. And on that, I'm sort of conscious I've got to go get the boy. So we've veered away from hobby, and we've talked about pubs in the final sort of sessions. I've answered all my questions. Yeah, we've had a good show. I've had a great time. Yeah, as soon as nice one, Jace. 20 years in March. We're 20 years in April. Jace, we should do something. I didn't know you were 20 years in March. We're 20 years start of April. We should do something. We should go out for a meal together at least. At the very least. Next January will be 25 for our anniversary. Nice one, Gary. I wouldn't go to a nightclub now, even if you paid me. I'm too old for that now. I'd look like that guy we used to stare at when we did go to nightclubs, who didn't belong there and looked like he really didn't want to be there and he'd rather be at home comfortable. Yeah? So, that sounds great. Right, we're going to wrap this up. Listen, guys, thanks for that. My hope is I can get these videos out for you. So you may see on Patreon 2 videos appear quickly. On the channel you'll just see 1 video appear, and hopefully the next one will drop in scheduled for Sunday. I've got to wait for the YouTube admin team to fix the problems with them being set to private and me not being able to change it before that can happen. So hopefully those will be out for you real soon. In the meantime, I'm just writing, building, and getting this book finished so we can get back to some really decent builds and get rolling again. In the meantime, thanks for sticking by me, guys. I know we're ticking over the channel right now, and I appreciate you sticking with me. I really do. Yeah, and I appreciate your support. Yeah, so to Jason H. Oh, pardon me. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Right, you guys, all of you have a good time. I'll catch you soon. All the best, yeah? Ta-da.